Hello everyone, this is ST Parmar and again you all are welcome to Clara classes. This is the platform where you will get class 9 to class 12 all the state board as well as NCERT and ICSE based syllabus in a video form, as well as you can also download this app from Google Play Store. Before starting my lecture, I would like to thanks to all of you for giving this many likes to my first video, and whenever you people give us likes, it is encouraging us to work with more enthusiasm and we can make more good videos for you. I would really like to thanks all of you for this much love, as we know that pandemic COVID-19 time is so much critical for everybody and all the teachers of Clara classes are working too much hard. So I request you all, whenever you watch any video, please give like, share and subscribe this. So we will start with our lecture living word. We will continue. Last time what we had talked, that is about the unique characteristics of a living organism, means during the lifespan what kind of the expressions are getting exhibited by any living organism, and we had talked about life itself is a unique character of a living organism. Then after we had seen the mode of nutrition as well as energy production and usage of energy, stimuli, reproduction, and the last character of living organism is the death. Then after we had also talked about the population and community, as different kind of organism together they make a population, and so many population means the crowd together in a same environment they make a community. Different kind of communities having interrelationship among them, and they dependent or co-dependent on each other for the mode of either nutrition or shelter or any other reason, and this way these characters form biodiversity. We all are living in the living world having biodiversity. Now how would we know that all the organisms who are living in this world, which kind of dissimilarities are persisting among them, or which are the characters which are making them similar to each other? So for that we are having the system taxonomy and systematics. So first of all, what is this taxonomy, that we will discuss. Taxonomy itself, it is nothing but the taxas, that means identification and nomenclature of organism. Nomenclature means naming. So taxonomy is a branch of biology which gives us the proper idea about identification and nomenclature of living organism. This technology or this study was done by Swiss-French botanist Augustin Paramus de Candolle, and he gave us the taxonomy branch for the identification of the different organisms. From this study only we have got systematics with the great scientist Carolus Linnaeus, who had given the branch of systematics for nomenclature and classification of all the living organisms, and that is why Carolus Linnaeus is named as father of classification. Carolus Linnaeus had also written one book called Systema Naturae, and from of that other scientists got the idea about the new systematics, from of which right now the organisms have been classified. So as we know that all the organisms living on the world, they have been characterized, they have been named, means nomenclature was also done, and now they have been also classified. And on the earth whatever the organisms are living, they all have been classified by one specific manner of classification. So we will study the manner of classification. So what is this manner or a pattern of classification, that we will see now. So the manner of classification is leading us to one specific system, and to remember this system I will give you one trick. You can remember this manner of classification with the help of this initials K, P, C of, and last you remember this way only, genus, species, because we know that this one would be helpful for us to understand binomial nomenclature or binomial naming. Okay, so from K itself, it's a kingdom, P is phylum, but if we are talking about plants, then we will name it division. C is for class, O for order, and F for family, and then comes genus and species. So whatever the common name of any organism, the scientific name of that organism we write in one specific form, and that is called the binomial nomenclature. Means the writing of the name, the manner of writing scientific name of any organism in this genus and species form is called binomial nomenclature. Like we can take an example of ourselves only, human being. So the genus name of human being is Homo and the species name is Sapiens. So binomial naming of human being is Homo sapiens. Okay. So this is the way of writing binomial nomenclature of any organism. But there is a one specific condition, or I should say there is a specific rule to write the nomenclature of any organism. Not only in the binomial way, the same binomial way of writing name of any organism is having one specific rule in, and the rule is that whenever we write the name of any organism into its scientific binomial way, we need to underline it compulsory, and the first letter of your genus would be capital, all the other letters would be always small letters, even of the first letter of your species. Only the first letter of genus would be capital, or you can go through italics. Either you will have to write it into italics or you need to underline them. So this is the way of writing name of any organism, which is called the binomial nomenclature. Okay, so next thing here we need to learn is ICBN. What is this ICBN? This is International Code for Botanical Nomenclature, and ICBN is having some specific manner for the classification of any organism, and this manner is first they need to do the characterization of the organism. Okay, so first what they will do, they study the characters of the organism for the development, ecological information and all. The second thing they do is the identification. This identification is needed for what? Like what the manner I had told you, phylum or division, means from which kingdom they have come. जैसे कि animal kingdom है, but from animal kingdom in which phylum it should be kept. So for that identification of organism is needed. It is based on the habitat of that organism or its recognition. The third thing they do is the classification. It is the manner of what I told you, KPC of genus and species, that you need to understand genus and species compulsory, you have to remember. Next thing they do is the nomenclature, माने naming. In short form only I am writing here naming. Okay, and the last thing is the characterization done, identification and classification is done, naming is over. So what is the thing is the study as per the biology what we people are doing right now. So this is the manner of the classification and nomenclature of any organism, as well as the binomial nomenclature also I have explained you. The next topic we need to understand is phylogeny. What is this phylogeny? Now I don't know whether I had told you, I think so in the first lecture, that millions of years ago on the earth there was only two different kind of microorganisms, one who were having chlorophyll in them and other who were not having chlorophyll. So they were dependent for the mode of nutrition on the other organism, and this way this all organism have come in existence. But In chapter 2 biological classification, we will study the different kind of classification system, and till today what we people are following is the classification given by Sir Robert Whittaker, the 5 kingdom classification. So a little bit I will have to go here, even though it's a topic of chapter number 2, but to make you very much clear, I am giving you this idea like what Sir Robert Whittaker had given the classification, 5 kingdom classification, and the 5 kingdoms were Moneras, that was all the bacterias, protozoa or protista, fungi, plants and animalia. So this 5 kingdom means till today, from that time to till today, only these 5 kind of kingdoms are living on the earth. This is our biodiversity right now. But if in future, like due to the climatic changes, those organisms they started to come closer and they form a cluster, and as well as per that cluster formation only the multicellular organism came in existence. But suppose if something happening like that, and due to climatic changes, if any of this kingdom is doing much of the adaptations or trying to do so many biological changes in them, and any new kingdom is going to come, like if we think like this is my own thinking, I don't know some other scientists would be working on this or not, but this is, as a biologist, my thinking is like that. Suppose there is a some kind of fertilization is happening between plants and animal. So might be it could not be like that in future we can get the movable plants, because the plant are not having characteristics of motility. So might be this character they could adapt from animal if fertilization goes on, or animals might be born with the chloroplast into their body only. So that kind of something could happen. So many scientists are doing studies also over there. If this kind of thing is happening, then might be our so many problems could be also solved, like environmental pollutions and all. If chloroplast we people would be having, then shortage of oxygen problem would be also solved. This cleanliness of environment, everything would be problem. But this is only a thought. So what I want to say, that this all 5 kingdom, how they have come in existence, the evolution how has been done, that study is called phylogeny. So phylogeny we can I would like to term it like that, it's the history of evolutionary, sorry for the spelling mistakes, I'm good at biology but my spellings are always wrong. History of evolutionary progress. So how from Monera to here we have reached, that study, the branch of that evolution is called phylogeny. So while studying phylogeny, Carl Woese, scientist Carl Woese had given 3 domains of life, and for that I will have to erase the board. 3 domains of life. In chapter number 2, so many different classification system we are going to study, but here Carl Woese 3 domains of life has been mentioned in chapter number 1 only. So that I am explaining here what were those 3 domains of life. And was given by Carl Woese. Sorry, 3 only I told. So these 3 domains were bacteria itself, whom we right now call Moneras, and these bacteria either archaeas and eukaryotes or eukaryotic bacteria. So Carl Woese gave us this 3 domain of life, and then after from this only the domains have been further classified into the 5 kingdom. Moneras, Protistas, fungi, or at that time they were telling them Mycotas, Plantis, and then Animalia, which we will study in the chapter number 2. So these were the 3 domains of life which was first given by Carl Woese. Next thing we will study here is the taxonomical aids, not aids but aids. And what the taxonomical aids here we have are herbarium, so there is a preservation technique, in situ technique only. Inside of the lab we do it, probably it is useful very much for the students who are studying right now. Herbarium is a technique in which you can preserve any specific kind of the leaves of a plant, and you can study of it for your viva practice, your objective practice on it. So that is herbarium, or we can also call that herbarium sheets are the information sheets for the collection of that specimen, benefited for the note down of date or your location from where you have collected that specimen. So for this information preservation of that specimen, okay, it is the herbarium sheet. The second aid is botanical gardens. And in the book 2 to 3 gardens have been mentioned. One is the botanical garden present in England, another is in Howrah, Calcutta, and one more is there. I don't remember the third one. So these 2 I will write over here. Royal Botanical Garden, which is presently situated in England, okay, and another is the Howrah. In Howrah the botanical garden is there. So these are the 2. This one is the Indian Botanical Garden. Okay. The third is the museum. We all very well know about the museum. Museum is the place for the preservation of the fossils for their collection. We do the collection for specifically the skeleton preservation and for the further studies, and to compare them with the presently existing species. Okay, so museum is the collection and preservation of skeleton, and for what purpose are we preserving them? To compare them with the presently existing species. Next is zoological parks, that is the safest area for animals, means over here hunting is prohibited. So that is also one taxonomical aid only, the zoological parks. And the last one is the key. Key is nothing else but it's showing us the lead. Like what lead? If it is also named as couplet. What is the meaning of couplet? When syngamy is in progress in so many organisms, the syngamy is the only technique for the production of a new cell from pre-existing cell. So in the progeny who is expressing the characters, it is called the key. Okay, so this is taxonomical aid. And the last topic is the another taxonomical aids like flora, manuals, monographs and catalogs. So what are the floras? The floras are specially for the plant kingdom, and it is giving us the information about the habitat and distribution of the plant. Whether manuals are for animal kingdom, from where this animal has been means the specimens habitat, from which habitat we have been characterizing them, identifying them or studying their criteria, that is in the manual. As well as the manual also give us idea about the specimens, genera and species as well as their couplets. Monographs are for the comparison of the taxons, different taxons, which kind of similarities and dissimilarities are them, having into them, persisting among them, that all thing is present in the manuals. And the last one is the catalog is the upgradation of information, means every minute, every second, which kind of upgradation is happening into adaptation of any living organism what we are studying, that is present in catalog. So this is all about class 11 chapter number 1, living world. Thank you.